my name is Johan, and at present I am the ambassador of AdrenalNET. AdrenalNET was founded in 2015 in the Netherlands by 7 universities and a patient organization. Our role as AdrenalNET is more to solve information problems in the Netherlands. That was the origin. We realized then, especially at the beginning, that information on adrenal diseases could be much better than it was on that moment available for patients. After all, we understood that with limited resources for a small disease, this was rather logic. In the Netherlands, we have about 12, 13, maybe 14,000 people using hydrocortisone, and most of them are adrenal patients. Well, we thought at the beginning, better build once good and distribute many, instead of that every hospital would have its own information site. Now, nearly 10 years later, you see the diaspora again. It is like a cycle of the pigs. You come to the same conclusions, and now you have new people, new doctors, new webmen, new web ladies, and there is a slight diaspora. So there is enough time to do the work. In the origin, we were only for the Netherlands. And as is, we grew by questions from the Scandinavian countries. We worked very close together with Denmark. We got more questions from Germany, Belgium, some from France. And since a year or two, we get even questions from further away, from Canada, from Australia, 1 or 2 from New Zealand, Thailand, and especially Singapore. Adrenals, the website for the international website for WerkWijzer.online or Adrenals.eu, the international website for AdrenalNET, services on this moment about 15,000 unique visitors in the Dutch edition per month, and that is WerkWijzer.online, and 7,500 people in the international edition, Adrenals.eu. 7,500 people each month as unique visitor. We have no knowledge of any other partner that can share this with us, so therefore there is apparently need for information.
What are the most common challenges that people with adrenal insufficiency or a pituitary disorder face in terms of employment?
That is a complex question and a serious question. What you see is that, especially on this edge of work and disease, there is a lot of what I would call pseudo-privacy rules, and there is a lot of professionalism that work in silos. Many doctors become insurance experts, many endocrinologists think they cannot speak to the insurance experts. Patients don't know what happens. So these unknown manifestations, let's say thinking over borders, working across borders, in adrenal diseases with people having a job is not easy. It's not easy for the general practitioner, it's not easy for the occupational health physician, it's not easy for the general internal specialist. And all of them have good intentions, but the practice showed that it didn't work. The ultimate consequences of not having the patient in the center and not working together is a situation where the diagnosis is not ideal. The diagnosis and the delayed diagnosis is very common. And too often, unfortunately, most of them are women. And this creates another, I would say, discriminatory situation, is where women frequently being answered or informed, "Madam, it's your hormones, aren't you menopausal?" these answers don't make it easier. So I think that we need to work across borders, that we need to get everybody on board and put the patients in the center of the discussion. Because the ultimate consequences of the delayed diagnosis, in the Netherlands, we have a problem that the diagnosis and the treatment needs to be decided within 24 months to get a proper rehabilitation program and a proper reinsurance scheme. In too many situations, these 24 months are too short. So this also creates not only a physical problem, it creates a financial problem. And also, and when that is the worst thing to me, is people do not ask for help in time for what I would call psychological problems, for psychological effects are not seen. And I think that roughly work and healthcare frequently think that each of them should solve it, but they should solve it in a tripartite situation: work, healthcare, and mental health care, because this latter is too frequently forgotten in this situation.
Can you briefly talk to us about the Dutch Participation in Employment project that you were involved in and its main findings or results?
This project was originally an exploratory research idea to see how healthcare and participation in work would join together and where they create problems. The budget was limited, and despite this very small budget, it created still a lot of results, because many of the partners, many of the participants, gave each other fuel for enthusiasm. And I would say that all the partners involved, they were from different schools, labor expertise, insurance doctors, patients, endocrinologists, rehabilitation, physiotherapists, nurses. They all were there in the project. And well, they came to the conclusion, we need to share more to come into mutual knowledge. Because it is like with a painting, all these experts create only one color, but the painting is the mix of these colors. So if you have a rare disease, like adrenal disease is a rare disease, and you think that you are hampered by privacy rules, next to that you do not know everything, and you're suffering here or working here in a domain where the delayed diagnosis for these diseases is terrible. When I started working in healthcare, it was sometimes up to 25 years. And now these days, I would say that the average is between 1 and 2.5 years diagnosed, still too long. But the expertise needs to be shared, and we need also neutralize the information. Therefore, we have made these fact sheets. These fact sheets have done far more than we ever could imagine, because all doctors, all involved insurance experts, the labor experts, the rehabilitation experts, they all said, aha, is that the essence of the disease? While they themselves created the building blocks for these fact sheets, but we only took what I would call the borders away. And that is what is essential. We have to work on more reliable, neutral, complete healthcare information for adrenal patients.
How can healthcare providers play a role in reducing work disability or preventing unemployment?
It is a very complex answer, or even a complex question. because in general, employers have employees to do some work, and in return they give money. But there is more to this game. Work is a part of the essences for someone to live. Many people live for their work. Many people get pleasure from their work. Many people get only social contacts due to their work. Many people want to be proud on their work. So it goes far beyond earning money. And what we need to see is that a person with a disease is maybe not a perfect employee anymore, but definitely he or she is a person with a lot of capabilities left. And let us look to those opportunities which are left, because he or she can do us or the society or the employer a lot of favors. And we need to be far more flexible in that respect, that it's not a black or white question. You are good or not good enough to work. No, most of us are good enough to work, because what we see is too often that people are differently advised in a segregating situation. The employer says you need to come back to work, else my insurance doesn't work. The healthcare worker says maybe you should not work, let's say 75%, but 50%. And the interest is always, let's say, the insurance at the end of the day and the income. But it should be, what is the wealth and the health of the patient on the long run?
What practical actions can employers do to better support employees living with one of these conditions?
I am a former employer. Later on, when I grew older, I was also employee. And now I'm an pensionado in training, and I'm totally not successful on this moment as pensionado, because I love the work. And I think that is also the essence. We should, let's say, inform the employer to know that stimuli in that respect should be given to create a better situation for the patient to come to work and to do the work, maybe at home, and make him or herself available to the work progress, and let him or her participate as much as possible. And obvious, especially in the Dutch situation, is the permanent question of income and health insurance and employers insurance. But I would say at the end of the day, the essence is that you're happy and that you are well advised. And maybe we should come to a conclusion that also the employer should have more frequent an advice over the well-being of the patient, and not only, let's say, make it into a financial discussion.
What should people newly diagnosed with one of these conditions consider in regards to their career and maintaining a healthy work-life balance?
I would like to suggest 3, 4, 5 items which need to be considered when you come to this question. And for me, one of the top things is this delayed diagnosis. If you fear that you are in a hospital where not the right expertise is, just go and ask, where is the expertise regarding this disease? In the Netherlands, we have 70 hospitals. And we say that only 10% of them are an expert hospital with expert endocrinologist for this disease. Maybe it will not be 10%, maybe it might be 20 or 30%. But anyhow, accept that there is not in every town, in every hospital, expertise for your disease, and talk about it, discuss that. Second, talk to your practitioner, talk to your endocrinologist, and share with him or her your concerns, and ask him or her for his experiences, especially when it comes to a pituitary operation. It's not a piece of cake. It should be done by super experts. And maybe in a population of the Netherlands, roughly 18 million, we can deal with 2, maybe 3 hospitals where we do these pituitary operations per annum. Not more, please, because then there is no expertise. And exactly the same is for adrenal removal. We have about 400, 450 operations per year for adrenal removal. Don't expect that this can be done in every hospital. We have come to the conclusion already last year that it should be 5, maybe 6 hospitals that facilitate these operations. And please be open to your expert that he or she should refer you in time. 3, don't be afraid to share your doubts and concerns with your doctor over your employer. But also don't be afraid to share your doubts with your employer. Everyone, I repeat, everyone benefits if you can continue your work. And it's better to continue your work on 50% the rest of your life than to be home after 2 or 3 years because you could not prove to work for 100%. Any rest remaining quality is valuable for you, for your employer, for the society, for your family, because sitting at home and doing nothing is absolutely a disaster. Work is an essential element for well-being. 4, please do not think that it's only a medical problem, a physical medical problem. Seek for help. Ask for the social worker in your job. Go to the hospital and ask for a psychologist or psychiatrist help. Your life has dramatically changed. You will never, ever be the same. And please accept that. Because the earlier and the better you accept your new life, the more happy you are and the better you are available for work, but also for your partners, for your family, for your children. Because whatever you think, your family needs to rely on you. And 5, that is more or less the same as the previous one. Manage your expectations. Manage your expectation and accept that life has changed. Of course, everybody of us. Look to myself. I was the king of the road when I graduated on my 21st birthday. I had my first academic master degree. Too young, too wild, too enthusiastic. And see what happened to me in my life. I had many moments of, let's call it bad luck. But at the end of the day, with help of my family, with help of my wife, with help of my psychiatrist, I'm still here and I still have a lot of optimism. But manage your expectation. That is essential. Don't expect that life is the same tomorrow as it was yesterday.
What advocacy efforts are still needed in this area?
A lot of work is waiting for us. A lot of work is waiting for us in the Netherlands because not everybody has seen the results of our project. But if you look to the fact sheets, hundreds and hundreds of fact sheets have been downloaded. And we will facilitate now them more and more in English. But I think that if we have made a success under the Dutch circumstances, we should be able, for instance, to share them under another flag, another language, another country, reliable, undiscussable information understood by everybody, and maybe in another form than letters, is essential. We recently saw the news. 26% of those who visit a Dutch pharmacy haven't got a clue what kind of medicine they pick up. They are not able to read the instructions. They have no idea what the function is and the side effects. So 23%, a quarter of our population, has apparently no connect anymore with the information that we provide in the old way. And maybe old boys like me should consider other methods. But that there is a serious problem, yes, we need to work harder and better, and maybe in a different way than we always did, to get the information across everybody, because every patient has right on the full story.